Imagine taking the hardest survival exam in history. Build a shelter from nothing. Find food in a frozen wasteland. Avoid predators that can smell you from miles away. Fail any part and you die. No second chances. Every animal on Earth has taken this test for millions of years. Most species failed and went extinct. But humans? We didn't just pass. We rewrote the entire exam. We built shelters that lasted thousands of years. We found food in every climate on the planet. And those predators hunting us? We turned them into our best friends. We domesticated the very creatures designed to kill us. But here's what blows my mind. The animal we chose to befriend was the most dangerous predator in our environment. Wolves. Pack hunters with bite forces that could crush bone. Animals that hunted in coordinated groups and never gave up once they caught your scent. Every other species ran from wolves. Humans walked up and said, "Let's be friends." And somehow it worked. But the truth behind this will shock you. Scientists recently discovered that humans didn't just get lucky. We used 3 specific survival strategies that no other animal had ever combined before. These strategies were so effective that we went from being prey to becoming the most dominant species on Earth in just a few thousand years. The first strategy changed how we thought about shelter. The second revolutionized our relationship with food. And the third? It created the most successful partnership in evolutionary history. By the end of this video, you'll understand why humans are the only species that turned their predators into pets. You'll see how our ancestors solved problems that killed every other creature. And you'll discover the exact moment when humans stopped being prey and became the hunters. Let me show you exactly how this happened. 40,000 years ago, Earth was a death trap for humans. We had no fur to keep warm, no claws to fight back, no sharp teeth to tear meat. We couldn't outrun wolves or outclimb big cats. We were basically naked apes wandering through frozen landscapes filled with creatures designed to eat us. The odds were terrible. Most human groups didn't survive. The archaeological record shows countless sites where early humans were hunted and killed by predators. But here's the first surprise. Humans had one advantage that changed everything. Our brains burned through 20% of our body's energy. That's more than any other animal on Earth. We needed this massive energy consumption because we were doing something revolutionary. We were planning. Other animals reacted to threats. Humans predicted them. We looked at a cave and imagined it as a shelter before we even entered. We saw a herd of animals and planned how to hunt them next week. We observed wolf behavior and recognized patterns they didn't even know they had. This ability to plan ahead created our second advantage. Cooperation on a level never seen before. Wolves hunted in packs of 5 to 10. Human groups coordinated in bands of 30 to 50. We shared knowledge across generations. A grandmother could teach her grandchildren tricks she learned 50 years ago. But this massive brain came with a cost. We needed constant calories. In winter, when plants died and animals migrated, humans faced starvation. Many groups froze to death in their first winter. Others were picked off by predators one by one. The pressure was enormous. Survive or die. Build or freeze. Hunt or starve. Fight or become food. Now here's the second surprise. Humans were facing the same exam as wolves. Both species were struggling to survive the Ice Age. Both needed shelter from brutal winters. Both were hunting the same prey animals. Both were dying in huge numbers. We were competitors and enemies. Every piece of meat a human ate was food a wolf needed. Every deer we killed was one less meal for a wolf pack. We should have fought to extinction. Instead, something impossible happened. And it started with the first revelation that changed everything. Now here's where things get really interesting. Humans didn't just build shelters. We engineered microclimates. And this single innovation saved our species. Here's what I mean. A bear finds a cave and sleeps in it. That's shelter. But humans looked at that same cave and saw potential. We built fires at the entrance to control temperature. We hung animal skins to block wind. We dug channels to drain water. We created separate areas for sleeping, cooking, and tool making. We turned random holes in rocks into climate-controlled homes. The temperature inside a properly built human shelter could be 40 degrees warmer than outside. That's the difference between life and death when it's -20 degrees in an Ice Age winter. But here's the crazy part. These shelters did more than keep us warm. They changed how we thought about space itself. Humans started treating shelters as permanent bases. We stored food inside. We kept tools there. We returned to the same shelter year after year. This created something no other animal had: accumulated resources. A wolf that kills a deer eats it and moves on. A human that kills a deer brings it back to the shelter, preserves the meat, saves the hide, and makes tools from the bones. One kill became 10 different resources. Scientists studying ancient human sites found something shocking. Shelters with storage pits contained evidence of survival rates 3 times higher than groups without storage. Having a place to keep food during hard times meant your children lived instead of died. This storage system had a ripple effect. Groups with good shelters attracted more members. More members meant better hunting. Better hunting meant more stored food. More food meant the group grew larger. It was a success spiral. But the best shelters had a problem. They attracted attention. Wolves could smell stored meat from miles away. Big cats watched humans return to the same caves repeatedly. Predators learned that human shelters meant easy food. Early humans faced a brutal choice: stay in the good shelter and fight off predators constantly, or abandon the shelter and lose all your stored resources. Both options got people killed. Then someone had a genius idea. What if we didn't fight the predators? What if we recruited them? I'll explain why this made sense in a moment. But first, you need to understand what humans discovered about food. Because our second strategy wasn't just about finding calories. It was about creating a food surplus so large that we could literally afford to share it with wolves. And that's when everything changed. But if you think that's crazy, wait until you hear this. Humans invented the concept of wasting food on purpose. And it made us the most successful predators on Earth. Let me explain. Every animal on the planet operates on a simple rule: eat everything you kill. A lion eats until it's full, then abandons the carcass. A wolf pack devours an entire deer, bones and all. There's no such thing as leftover food in nature. Humans broke this rule completely. We killed more than we could eat. We brought entire animals back to camp when we only needed the meat. We let certain parts rot because we preferred others. We threw scraps away. To any other animal, this looked insane. Wasting food is wasting energy. Wasting energy means death. But humans had figured out something revolutionary. We weren't wasting food. We were investing it. Here's how it worked. Humans learned to preserve meat by smoking it, drying it, or freezing it in snow. This meant we could kill a mammoth and eat it for months instead of days. But preservation wasn't perfect. Some meat always spoiled. Some cuts were too tough to eat. Some organs we simply didn't like. Instead of forcing ourselves to eat everything, we left scraps outside our shelters. And wolves noticed. Wolves are opportunistic feeders. They'll eat anything they can get. Those human scraps? Free calories with zero effort. Wolves started hanging around human camps, eating our garbage. This happened independently across Europe, Asia, and possibly North America. Now here's where it gets interesting. Not all wolves could handle this. Most wolves were too aggressive. They'd try to steal fresh meat from humans and get killed. Or they'd attack human children and the entire pack would be hunted down. But some wolves were different. They were less aggressive, more curious. They hung back and waited for scraps instead of attacking. And these wolves had a genetic advantage. Scientists discovered that these friendly wolves could digest starches better than aggressive wolves. Starches meant they could eat more of what humans ate. Leftover grains, cooked roots, and plant materials that pure carnivores couldn't process. These wolves weren't just tolerating humans. They were adapting to our food supply in real time. Humans noticed which wolves didn't cause problems. We started leaving scraps specifically for the calm ones. We chased away the aggressive ones but tolerated the friendly ones. Over just a few hundred generations, this created a new type of wolf. One that lived alongside humans instead of hunting us. But this created an unexpected benefit. Those friendly wolves still had all their predator instincts. They still hunted. They still defended territory. They still had incredible senses of smell and hearing. And humans realized something incredible. We didn't need to domesticate wolves to serve us. We needed them to do what they already did best: be wolves. This brings us to the most shocking discovery of all. The wolves domesticated us just as much as we domesticated them. And the proof is written in our DNA. Scientists studying ancient human remains made a startling discovery. Humans who lived alongside wolves showed genetic changes that humans without wolves didn't have. We adapted to them while they adapted to us. Here's what changed in humans. Our ability to read facial expressions improved dramatically. We developed better long-distance communication skills. Our sleep patterns shifted to match-pack behavior. We even changed how we process social bonds and trust. These weren't cultural changes. They were genetic ones. Humans who could cooperate with wolves survived better than humans who couldn't. And over thousands of years, this created evolutionary pressure that shaped both species. But here's the truly mind-blowing part. The partnership with wolves made humans better hunters than we ever could have been alone. And I'm not talking about a small improvement. I'm talking about a complete transformation of human capability. A human hunting alone might track a deer for hours and never catch it. A wolf pack could chase that deer but might not outsmart its escape routes. But a human and wolf working together? They were unstoppable. Wolves tracked prey using scent. Humans spotted prey using vision and planning. Wolves chased animals into exhaustion. Humans set up ambush points where the tired animals would flee. Wolves could hunt at night. Humans could hunt during day. Together, they hunted around the clock. Archaeological sites from after wolf domestication show a dramatic spike in successful hunts. Human groups with wolves killed 30 to 40% more game than groups without them. That's not a small advantage. That's the difference between your family starving or thriving through winter. But the benefits went beyond hunting. Wolves acted as alarm systems. They could hear and smell threats long before humans could. They warned us about approaching predators, rival human groups, and dangerous weather. They were living security systems that never slept. Humans with wolves survived cold nights better because wolf body heat added warmth to shelters. We survived attacks better because wolves fought alongside us. We raised healthier children because wolves protected them from predators while adults hunted. This partnership created a feedback loop that changed Earth forever. Humans with wolves spread faster and survived in harsher climates. We moved into territories that had been too dangerous before. We hunted animals that had been impossible to catch alone. We built larger settlements because we had better security. Within just 5,000 years, humans went from scattered bands of vulnerable primates to the dominant species on every continent except Antarctica. And wolves? They became dogs. The most successful domesticated animal in history. There are now over 900 million dogs on Earth. That's one dog for every 8 humans. We didn't just pass the survival exam. We created a new category of existence that had never existed before: interspecies partnership. So what does all this mean for us today? This story reveals something crucial about human nature. We don't survive by being the strongest or the fastest. We survive by being the best cooperators. Think about your own life right now. You're not hunting mammoths, but you're still facing the same fundamental challenges. You need shelter, whether that's an apartment or a house. You need food, whether you hunt it or buy it. And you need protection, whether from predators or from economic uncertainty. The humans who survived the Ice Age didn't do it alone. They built networks. They shared resources. They formed partnerships with unlikely allies. And that's still the strategy that works today. Modern humans who isolate themselves struggle more than those who build communities. Studies show that people with strong social networks live longer, earn more, and report higher happiness. We're still the same species that survived by cooperation. But here's what's changed. Most people today have forgotten how to build real partnerships. We've replaced cooperative relationships with transactional ones. We pay for services instead of exchanging skills. We buy security systems instead of knowing our neighbors. We've lost the fundamental strategy that made us successful. The wolf partnership teaches us something specific. The best alliances aren't about dominance or control. They're about mutual benefit. Humans didn't enslave wolves. We offered them something they wanted, food and safety, and they offered us something we needed, protection and hunting assistance. Think about your career, your relationships, your goals. Are you trying to control everything alone? Or are you building partnerships where everyone benefits? The humans who tried to control wolves failed. The humans who cooperated with them changed history. There's also a darker implication. The same cooperation that let us domesticate wolves also made us incredibly effective at eliminating competition. Humans with wolf partnerships hunted rival predators to extinction. We killed off saber-toothed cats, dire wolves, and giant short-faced bears. We didn't just survive. We dominated so thoroughly that we erased our competition. This pattern continues today. Humans cooperating in groups, corporations, nations, movements can accomplish incredible things. But we can also cause massive destruction. The same species that created the most successful partnership in evolutionary history also created weapons that could destroy all life on Earth. The lesson isn't that cooperation is always good or always bad. It's that cooperation is powerful. It's the most powerful force humans possess. And we need to choose carefully who we cooperate with and what we're trying to achieve. Our ancestors chose to cooperate with wolves instead of fighting them. That choice saved our species and created our best friend. What choices are you making today? Who are you cooperating with? What are you building together? Before we wrap up, there's one final thing you need to know. The story I just told you happened at least 4 times independently. And scientists think it might have happened dozens more times that left no archaeological evidence. Humans in Europe domesticated wolves. Humans in Asia domesticated different wolves. Humans in the Middle East possibly domesticated a third wolf population. And recent genetic evidence suggests humans in North America might have domesticated wolves before those populations died out. We didn't stumble into dog domestication once by accident. We invented it over and over again. Different cultures, different continents, different time periods, all arriving at the same solution. This wasn't luck. This was strategy. And here's the final twist. We didn't stop with wolves. Once humans figured out the domestication strategy, we applied it to everything. We domesticated cats to control rodents. We domesticated cattle for food and labor. We domesticated horses for transportation. We domesticated chickens, pigs, sheep, goats, and more. In the last 15,000 years, humans have domesticated over 40 different species. No other animal has ever domesticated even one. This ability to form partnerships with other species is uniquely human. It's our superpower. But the wolf was first. And the wolf was the hardest. We took the apex predator hunting us and turned it into humanity's most loyal companion. We transformed our greatest threat into our greatest ally. Every dog you see today, from a tiny Chihuahua to a massive Great Dane, descends from those wolves that chose to cooperate with humans 40,000 years ago. Their genes carry the memory of that impossible partnership. And every human alive today descends from the people who passed that survival exam. You exist because your ancestors built better shelters than their neighbors. They found more food than other groups. They avoided predators more successfully than competing humans. And they made one decision that changed everything. They chose cooperation over conflict. You carry those same genes. That same drive to build, to find, to survive, and to cooperate. The next time you see a dog, remember, that animal exists because your ancestors were the most innovative survivors in history. And you're here because they refused to accept that any challenge was impossible. If this opened your eyes to how incredible human survival really was, then you need to hear what comes next. Let's recap what we've discovered. Humans survived by engineering shelters that created microclimates, giving us controlled environments in a deadly world. We invented the concept of surplus food and used it to form the first interspecies partnership in history. And we didn't just domesticate wolves, we co-evolved with them, changing both species forever in ways written into our DNA. But here's what most people miss. This same pattern is happening right now with technology. We're forming partnerships with artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, and digital networks. We're creating tools that are changing us as much as we're changing them. The question is, will we approach these new partnerships with the same wisdom our ancestors used with wolves? If you found this story fascinating, you need to subscribe right now, because this channel explores the most incredible moments in human history, the times when we faced impossible odds and somehow won. Next week, I'm revealing how humans survived a supervolcano that nearly drove us extinct. Only a few thousand humans remained alive, and the strategy they used is even more shocking than the wolf story. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. These stories aren't just history. They're instruction manuals for solving modern problems using ancient wisdom. And if you want to go deeper, I've created a free guide called The 7 Survival Strategies That Built Civilization. It breaks down the exact techniques our ancestors used to go from prey to predator. You'll learn how to apply these strategies to your career, your relationships, and your goals. The link is in the description. Download it now while it's still free. Now here's what I want to know from you. If you could domesticate one modern animal that we haven't successfully domesticated yet, what would it be and why? Drop your answer in the comments. I'm reading every single one, and the best answers might appear in next month's Community Spotlight video. And if you really want to understand how humans conquered Earth, watch this video next. It covers the moment humans learned to control fire, and trust me, everything you think you know about that story is wrong. The real version involves asteroid impacts, lightning strikes, and a discovery that happened by complete accident. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being curious about where we came from and what it took to get here. Every view, every like, every comment tells YouTube to share this with more people who love learning about human history. Remember, you're descended from the survivors. You carry their innovation in your genes. Now go out there and prove that the most incredible survival story isn't in the past. It's the one you're writing right now. I'll see you in the next one.